Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Melissa, and we're
Disabled Disney.
Welcome to this week's video. I'm Melissa.
I'm Jillian.
I'm David.
And this week we are going to be talking about our top 10 favorite attractions.
Woo!
Also known as rides. Disney calls them attractions. And we're going to do this as a countdown from 10. Without further ado, number 10 for me is Mike and Sully to the Rescue, Monsters Inc. in California Adventure. Jillian, what's yours?
Mine is Winnie the Pooh in Critter Country.
The Many Adventures of Winnie.
Dad, your favorite ride? 10th favorite ride?
My number 10 would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Which is in New Orleans Square in Disneyland Park.
Yes.
Number 9 for me is Radiator Springs Racers, also known as the Cars Ride in Cars Land in California Adventure.
Mine would be Peter Pan's Flight in Fantasyland in Disneyland Park.
My number 9 would be Toy Story Midway Mania.
In
Disney's California Adventure.
Pixar Pier. And number 8 for me is Toy Story Midway Mania in Pixar Pier, Disney California. Adventure. Yeah,
it's a
really
combination
fun.
between a ride and a video game.
And you get a score at the end.
He wins.
If Disney could figure out a way to put in a photo op on that ride, would be amazing, because they figured out a way to do it on Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, which I think
Tell us how you really feel about that one.
I think it's really lame in comparison to Toy Story Midway Mania, honestly. I've done it a few times. I know. I've done it a few times, but it's really lame when you compare the two rides.
Because you're literally like...
Toy Story Midway Mania is really interactive. Stuff
3D.
Flies at you. Right, it's 3D. Stuff flies at you when you hit
you
it.
swirl around.
Yeah, I mean, you can swirl around in Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, but you have
Technically
to...
speaking, in Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters, you can spin around in that too.
Yeah.
You can control it more.
But it's not
And-
automatic.
And go ahead and try to convince me that Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters, with the 3D props that are actually right there physically in front of you, aren't in 3D.
Can we get back to the purpose of this video? I'm sure we can do a whole 10-minute video.
Anyway, Toy Story Midway Mania is really fun. If you've never been on it, make it a priority to go. What are we on, number 8?
Yeah,
Number
my
8.
8th favorite ride in Disneyland is Alice in Wonderland and Fantasyland of Disneyland Park.
My number 8 is Grizzly River Run. I'm not exactly sure which land that would be in. It's right there next to Grizzly Peak.
It's a water ride. It's a water raft ride.
White water rafting.
And it's super fun. And you get super wet.
You may get wet, or you will get wet.
You may get soaked, is what they say.
Yeah, but the may get soaked is a definitely.
And that one's a good one, too, for...
Every time I've been on it, I've been soaked.
Just because of the fact that you've gotten soaked every single time doesn't mean everybody...
Not everybody gets soaked.
Like,
I'm still mad at
Stephanie,
Kirsten.
Yeah, Stephanie's friend, Kirsten.
She ends up with like 4 drops of water on her the whole ride.
Like everyone else is soaked, she gets 4 drops of water. But
and she was wearing a white shirt.
A white tank top. Yes, she was.
And she went, it's okay, I'm not going to get wet. When she went on the ride. And didn't.
No, she didn't.
She had 4 drops of water. I'm still mad forgot about that.
Anyway, and that's a good one. Another good one for handicap accessibility because the handicap boat is separate. You get on separately from the main.
They pull it into this little dock, and you get on. They shove it out.
So you can take all the time you need getting on and off of that ride. You do have to transfer, but you can take all the time that you need to get on and off. So that's another one I really like.
Versus where the standard queue is, there's a moving platform with the rafts going around.
It's a revolving dock. I don't like it.
So that takes us to number 7. For mine is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is in Frontierland in Disneyland. It's a roller coaster. Super fun. You're going to notice it on all of our lists, I believe. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is in Fantasyland.
And is no longer in Disney World in Orlando. They took it out to put in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So in order to ride it in the United States, you have to go to Disneyland in California to ride it. And it's super fun. David?
My number 7, back to Critter Country for the other a ride that's in Critter Country.
There's only 2.
Is Splash Mountain.
Which is another water ride. It's a log flume ride. Drop. There's a drop at the end, a pretty big one. But
It's only like 45 degrees.
Yeah, anyway, I really like it because it's the story of the Song of the South. The story within a story with Song of the South, which is the story of Brer Rabbit. And that's the story that Splash Mountain tells. This is a really catchy song, Zippity Doo Dah, in it at the end.
Which is my, It's a Small World. This one hates that ride because the song plays over and over and over and over again. It gets stuck in your head. And that's my It's a Small World is that song, and I hate it. It's annoying.
All right, so my number 6 is Haunted Mansion in Norland Square in Disneyland. It's what it sounds like. It's a haunted mansion. It's like a big haunted house, but it's super cool. You got to go on it if you've never done it.
My number 6 is the Matterhorn
Bobsled. Which is a roller coaster in Fantasyland.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually has 2 separate tracks.
It does. One of them is faster.
Which track do you prefer? The Fantasyland side or the Tomorrowland side?
She probably doesn't remember which one she was ever on.
The left side or the right side, as you're standing there looking at it?
The left side.
The left side.
Which I believe is the smoother track, yes?
I believe it is.
Yeah, because one side is smoother and one side's faster. You have to try it both. Tell us which one do you like?
Both of them have a water braking system to where you do have a splashdown near the end to slow the cars down.
Yep.
But you don't really get wet. I mean, you do a little bit, but you don't really get wet.
Right. So what's your number 6?
So what was your number 6?
Haunted Mansion.
What a coincidence. My number 6 is also Haunted Mansion.
Oh my gosh, Haunted Mansion. Who knew we all like Haunted Mansion?
To that, I think we should say something like, "Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your host.
Your ghost host."
We still have the rest of the list to finish. Come on.
You're right. So that takes us to number 5. Mine is Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, depending upon how you pronounce it, which is also in Norland Square. And it's a water ride. You can get wet on that ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly you're the backside there.
Yeah.
Because the water will splash
Comes
up onto
in.
the seat. And then
And
sits in this little
whole
groove
seat
in the back of the
gets
seat.
The
And it'll
whole
just-
seat gets wet.
As the boat rocks.
It'll just slosh back and forth and get everybody's
Yep.
backside wet.
Yep.
So
And your
Expect
shoes will get wet, too.
Your shoes can get wet, too, on that ride.
So
depending on how much water's in the bottom of the boat. Right, number 5. Mine is, hold on, what was your guys' number 6 again?
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
What a coincidence! Mine is number 5.
I guess we love Haunted Mansion.
Dad.
My number 5. Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
And he's wearing the hat!
And the Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
Don't look into the eyes of the idol, or if you're like me, I always look into the eyes of the idol.
Yeah, last time we could have been rich, but you looked into the eyes of the idol.
I looked at it
always look in the eyes
last
of the
time we
idol.
went.
We get the untold riches, and you look into the eye, we lose the money.
Sorry. I always do it. What can I say?
We could be living in the Grand Californian Hotel
I'm
right
a
now.
rule breaker. What can I say?
She's a rebel without a cause.
Number 4. Mine is Storybook Land Canal Boats in Fantasyland.
I love those.
I love it. Tells the story of
Every
different,
single-
not every
Well,
single,
almost every
lot
single
of-
Disney movie
No.
ever.
But no, not even close to all
they're
of them.
Disney
I said
fairy tales.
almost.
It's been updated now. It includes stuff from
Frozen.
Frozen. It has Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. It's just a nice,
The Willows,
right? It's just
Cinderella.
it's a nice, slow, relaxing ride. You get the music. You get to look at the buildings that they and the craftsmanship is just amazing on the buildings and stuff. Also, the Casey Jr. train can go by,
Casey
and you
Jr.
can
train,
wave to
Casey
the
Jr.
people
train.
in the cages on the Casey Jr. train. And it's really nice at night because everything's lit up, and it's so gorgeous
pretty.
at night. You have to try it at night. If you've never been on Storybook Land Canal Boats at night, do it.
It's pretty.
All right, number 4.
My number 4 is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my gosh. I guess we like pirates too.
Dad?
My number 4, I really don't think needs an intro or an explanation. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
because we already covered that one. I
it's-
guess we like that one too. We like a lot of the same rides, actually. I think.
Which actually makes it convenient when you're like, okay, well, what do you want to go on? And
this,
You know,
this,
it's
this,
like-
and this.
it's like if you've got 5 people in your group and all 5 of them like different things, you know, you're never going to agree on anything. But if you've got a group where everybody likes the same rides, you're going to run into the same type of thing. And it's like, you know, oh yeah, I want to go
we
on
got
that ride.
time for one more. What's it gonna be?
That one's always the tough one. It's
Right.
generally where are we at the time when it's
Right.
like 15 minutes before close.
What can we
And-
hit one more time?
Generally speaking, we are either in Frontierland or New Orleans Square
Yep.
when the park closes.
This last trip we were had just gotten off Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and we went and hit Pirates right at close. We were one of the last people on it. We were the only ones in our boat, just the 3 of us. They're
like,
so cool.
Take row 1. And we're like,
I'm like,
I don't think so.
I'm gonna spread out because then we're gonna get like soaking wet. So I sat behind. They sat in row 1. I sat in row 2 behind them. So we're not all in row 1.
She's like, I'm not doing that.
No.
She's like, I can have row 2 all to
Yeah,
myself.
Because it was just the 3 of us in the boat. When it gets close to park closing, it's a really fun time. There's less people in the park, and you basically get to experience the attraction by yourself.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
And
So
And he makes a joke when we're crossing or passing Blue Bayou, which is technically inside Pirates.
it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
A very good restaurant.
It really is.
It's good. Yeah, he made a joke about they removed the
All the
Because Blue Bayou was
already
closed, so there was no patrons in there. I had made the joke that they had removed all the animatronic diners from the ride.
Because normally you see the diners in Blue Bayou. And yes, if you get a chance, eat there. It's amazing.
waterfront table.
You have
If
to
you
ask
can.
for it, and you normally have to wait for it. And we'll cover that in a video on the restaurants that we're going to do. So what are we up to? Number 3, or did we get through 4? Did we get through 4?
I was the last one who did
Yes,
number 4
so-
with
so
we're
Big
on
Thunder Mountain
We're
Railroad.
on number 3. My number 3 is Star Tours. The adventure continues at the moment.
What do you mean at the moment?
Well,
it
it
is
used
Star
to-
Tours,
it
The
used-
Adventure Continues.
No, it used to just be Star Tours.
Yes, it did.
And then when they came out with all the new stuff and changed it, it's now Star Tours: The Adventure Continues.
Pulled Rex out of the cockpit.
And
But-
put C-3PO in.
Yes. So I love Star Tours. I didn't always. The first time I went on it, I was with my aunt. And Aunt Cheryl, if you're watching this, I was 12, not stupid. She's like, oh,
Okay,
it's
you
just
definitely have to tell the whole story now,
Okay,
because
so-
everybody else is going to be like, "Why are they laughing?"
So I was 12. I was like super scared of everything. I was refusing to go on all the roller coasters, and she was like, oh my god, I want to go on one of the rides I like. So we get in line for Star Tours, and she's like, it's just a movie theater.
Then why are there
That you're jumping ahead.
Don't jump ahead. Let her tell the story. Let her tell the story. It's her story.
Fine.
So we get in there, and yes, it looks like a movie theater. There's a screen and seats in rows and arms on the seats and stuff. But there's seat belts. And I turned to my aunt and I said, then why are there seat belts? If it's just a movie theater. Again, I was 12, not stupid. So needless to say, now it's one of my favorite rides. I love Star Tours. So thank you, Aunt Cheryl. But again, I was 12, not stupid.
And if you've never seen the original version of it, there are videos of it on YouTube. I recommend you check it
Find
out. You know
one.
what the vehicle feels like if you've been on The Adventure Continues. But the original one with Rex, voiced by Paul Rubens, I would love to see a version of that coming back out.
Yes.
Disney doing a tribute to that to where it's,
Pay attention.
Okay.
to where it could be the same type of setup, but just use the same format to where you're going to Endor, you end up blowing up the Death Star.
Something with it. That was an amazing
that was
ride.
I loved the part where you went through the comets.
Yep.
That
was
part
so cool.
was awesome. I loved doing it.
And I would love to know what they're talking about.
Granted, right now, when we went on Star Tours this last trip, it was pretty much the same ride every single time, which the whole purpose of the way they set it up.
The Rebel Spy thing.
Is so you can get. Oh yeah,
It's
she got to be the rebel spy.
Twice.
This was her second time. So.
As I was saying, they have it set up to where you're in the not the Solo movie, but the one before that, The Last Jedi.
Right.
They taken stuff from that, and then you end at Black Spire Outpost, which is where
The new Star Wars land is going to be.
which is Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
So you're landing there.
So my number 3 is Space Mountain.
Which is in Tomorrowland, right next to Star Tours.
Quite literally, actually.
Wait, what did you say your number 3 was?
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain.
Yes.
Turbulent roller coaster ride through the darkness.
Yes.
At one point in time was Hyperspace Mountain.
Yes. And
every
Galaxy.
Every Halloween it changes into Ghost Galaxy.
Yeah.
Huh. My number 3 Space Mountain.
Now,
Okay then.
Space Mountain did not make my list, but I do like Space Mountain.
Space Mountain has a really cool car for disabled people,
And
it's over there by itself.
Yep.
You don't have a set time limit like where it used to be, where you were just in the standard car that's already in the line, and if you didn't get in quick enough, the ride was going to break down. It was going to give the error because of the fact that
it needed to move.
it needed to move and it wasn't moving. Now it's sitting off to its side by itself, and they actually slide the whole train on a section of track over in line when everybody's ready to go.
Yep.
It's so cool.
It is. It's amazing.
So, if you're in the disabled line, you actually get a little bit different of a ride experience. Just a little bit different going on Space Mountain.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, number 2. My number 2 is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in Critter Corner. I love that ride. Or Critter Country. Pooh's Corner and Critter Country. I absolutely love that ride. But then again, Winnie the Pooh, hello, is my favorite Disney character. So I'm gonna love that ride. It's also very disability friendly because you can stay in a wheelchair and go on it, which I found out last time, and it's really amazing because it puts you up higher in the car than you are sitting if you're just sitting on one of the benches, and it was awesome. I could see a lot more.
She actually was sitting above us.
Yep, it was really cool. I really liked that.
And she was like, I like this.
Yep,
And
really
we were in
liked
the
it.
back of it going, we're scrunched,
We were
we're
literally,
squished.
It was
and
a
we can't
little
see
tight
anything.
for the two of them in the
we
back.
were literally squished up on each other. And
But
kinda hurt.
it was so maybe only one, bigger person back there if you have a lot of people ask for 2 honeybees. But yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. All right, number 2.
My number 2 is Grizzly River Run.
Have we heard about that one before? I think
Yes.
we have. Yeah.
Pretty sure it was on
It's
Dad's
one we
list
like.
and yours.
No, it has not. It's not on my list yet.
Aww.
But it's one we like, obviously. Number 2, honey.
Star Tours, The Adventures Continue.
Star Tours. What is that? And by the way, it is in Tomorrowland, right next to Space Mountain. Highly recommend if you are disabled watching this, you go get a return time for Space Mountain, and then
and then
get
hop
in
on
line.
Star Tours.
So, Star Tours, you have to go through the whole line queue, pretty much.
No,
the
only
Only the
half of the
outside
line queue.
portion.
the outside line queue.
The
So,
really cool line queue,
we don't get to see.
You don't get to see.
No.
So, if you want to see what that looks like, the whole spaceport with C-3PO and R2-D2 having their little argument while they're trying to fix
Their argument
one of
is
the
so cute.
I know.
while
You
they're
can-
trying to fix one of the shuttlecraft, or what is it called, speeder?
Yeah, Star Speeder. You
Star
can find
Speeder.
it on YouTube.
Yeah, they have those on YouTube.
But you don't, so what you do, so we're going to explain this in another video, but you have to get a return time for Space Mountain. So what we do is we go get a return time for Space Mountain and then hop in the line. And you have to be in most of the line for Star Tours. And then they cut you to the elevator and have you take the elevator up because there's stairs. But you can do that, and that's what we do for that in Tomorrowland. And so that brings us to our number 1, our very favorite rides. Mine is Peter Pan's Flight in Fantasyland in Disneyland Park. It is amazing. They've added a lot of new,
Sparkles.
yeah,
Not just that, but now, when you get into the room that's got the volcano, when you first get to Neverland, look down at the pirate ship. The Tick-Tock Croc is actually circling that ship.
they've added a lot of new stuff to it in the last few refurbishments.
Tinkerbell's pixie dust is on the ship.
It's
the end.
amazing. I
It
mean,
looks
it
really
really
cool.
is. And pay attention for our Hidden Mickey video because there's a Hidden Mickey we're going to talk about on this ride. All right, number 1, Jillian.
My number 1 is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
You gotta tell the story of the first time you went on it.
Okay, so before our very first trip to Disneyland when I was 10, I had never been on a roller coaster. I had never done anything like that before. So I get on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad about halfway through the ride, and I'm sitting with him because both my mom and my aunt went, "Oh no, she's gonna hate this. I'm not gonna sit with her. David, you're stuck with her."
Now, mind you, I love roller coasters. I grew up in Ohio, so I was where I lived, we were halfway between Kings Island and Cedar Point. Anybody who's familiar with these amusement parks, you know they have probably some of the best roller coasters in the country. Now, this being said, the first roller coaster I ever went on had 3 inversions in it.
So he really loves roller coasters. So he was the perfect person to go with her on her first roller coaster.
So I was sitting next to him, right? We get about halfway through the ride. I stop everything. Like, I literally stopped thinking. I froze, crashed.
She completely freaked. I mean, she was like your computer when you're trying to do too much all at once and it just goes and stops and does nothing else. That's what she did.
I stopped functioning. Like, I was breathing, but that was only because that's a human bodily function.
Autonomic response.
Yeah. That's...
That means you do it without even thinking about it.
Right. I literally, like, shut down completely. Like, my mind is blank. I don't remember the last half of that second.
She was just sitting there like this.
Okay, so we get to the splashdown where the ride slows down.
And I start, like, rebooting, coming back. I turn to look at him and I'm like, that was awesome!
We get off the ride and she's like, can we go again?
The second time, she actually was able to process the entire
Yes.
ride.
She had a lot of fun. That was her first trip to Disneyland when she was 10. And,
At Christmas.
yeah, we went at Christmas. And your number 1, Mr. David?
Now, my number 1 is actually kind of a cheat. I will say that I have not actually ridden this exact ride.
I'm sorry.
Due to circumstances beyond our control.
I'm sorry.
Stop apologizing. Due to circumstances beyond our control,
It's technically
I
my
have
fault.
Okay.
not. Stop. Okay? Let me just say what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, due to circumstances beyond our control, I have not actually ridden the Incredicoaster. But I did really, really like, and it was my favorite ride in the park, Screamin'. Now,
California Screaming.
Yeah.
California Screamin'.
It's technically what it's called.
It was rebranded with Pixar Pier to Incredicoaster. So while he has not ridden it with the rebranding, he has ridden the actual ride as California Screamin'. And
Now, granted, they did change more than just the name. It does have some
Right.
animatronics with it,
That
a
it
little bit of a
didn't have.
show with it, which I have seen videos of, but I've never actually been on the ride. I have been told that you can actually smell Jack Jack's Cookie Num Nums when you're going through the tube, and if you saw our video on the snacks,
we mentioned the Jack Jack Cookie Num Nums.
the Jack Jack Cookie Num Nums, that's an amazing cookie. It's
So-
And he doesn't like sweets.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, so as soon as he gets on it, Incredicoaster is for sure going to be his favorite because California Screaming was his favorite. So it's just going to be that way. We do have a few honorable mentions because when we were trying to narrow down our top 10 rides,
we couldn't get him down to just 10.
it was hard.
We all had like 12, 13, 15.
I mean,
There's so many that we all like, and
with the exception of a couple, it would have been easier for her to go, okay, give me 2 rides you don't like.
yeah, probably.
And I would have been like, okay, 1 off the top of my head, no problem. It's a Small World. Cannot stand that ride.
The music gets to him.
I mean, let's face it. It's a little creepy in addition to the song being played over and over and over. You know, you're on that ride for like 10 and a half hours straight.
It's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes.
You're not.
It's 2 minutes.
And there's all the really doll looking animatronics.
And all they do is this.
And they just like
That's
waddle
not
back and forth.
exactly true.
Or like back and forth.
Some of them spin.
I don't know. Maybe I've seen Chucky too many times. I don't know.
I've never
But-
seen Chucky.
Or Puppet Master, maybe.
Never seen that either.
But
too many horror movies. He's seen too many horror movies. Anyway, he doesn't like It's a Small World. So my honorable mentions for rides that I really liked, but I couldn't put them on the list because there was way too many for me, is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Grizzly River Run. I really do love both of those rides, but I made the decision we had to narrow it down to 10 each, so I obviously had to have mine narrowed down to 10 because, hello, it was my topic. So what are your honorable mentions?
So my two are Indiana Jones and Toy Story Midway Mania.
I couldn't do two.
There's
because,
too many.
You know, Peter Pan's Flight, it's awesome. Storybook Canal Boats, I love that ride too. You know, pretty much half of the stuff in Fantasyland, every ride, there's not a single ride in Disneyland, with the exception of It's a Small World.
For me, it's Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blast.
That I wouldn't
too.
have a problem with if somebody said, "Hey, Dave, come on this ride with me." I would have no problem with it. I would jump on any ride with anybody.
Yeah.
Except It's a Small World.
I do.
Can't stress that enough.
Because these two really like It's a Small World, I do go on it.
Once.
We have an agreement, once a trip. He has to go
A minimum of once a trip, I do have to go on that ride, and
So we do. We go on it about once a trip.
Yeah.
But this time we did Pirates at least twice. We did Peter Pan's Flight twice at least.
We did Winnie the Pooh twice in one go around.
Because they let it sometimes if it's not a ride's not too busy, if you're in a handicap. The only exception I've seen to this is Space Mountain, because Space Mountain is always busy.
Like
in Gurr, when they let us go around three times. It was December and raining and cold. There was nobody wanting to go on the ride. So they literally kept asking us,
"Want to go again?
Want to go again?" Like, so we went around 3 times.
we came back
we're like,
around.
"Okay, we're done.
We're good."
And they're like, "You want to go again?" We're like, "No, I think we're cool."
Thank you.
One quick thing I do want to point out, though. If you're using the Disney Play app and you cannot find all of the codes for Space Mountain, they are in the exit. If you go into the exit by the bathrooms, they're on the doors, the ceiling, one of the walls, above the water fountains. They're all over the place. All 20 codes are there.
We're going to cover that on our Disney Play app video, so watch out for that.
If we didn't cover your favorite ride in the video, please leave a comment below. Let us know. And if you agree with any of our lists, let us know in the comments below.
And leave us a comment. Leave us a like.
Thumbs up.
Have a magical day.
Bye.
Support us on Patreon for special content and disabled Disney swag.
Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest pages.
Hit that subscribe and bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video.
We really appreciate the likes, comments, and subscribes. Now, check out more content from our channel by clicking in your upper right-hand corner on the next video.